Hello and welcome back to Helluva Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Audie, the O is silent.
Today we're actually recording on a Discord call because we are no longer together at school.
So sad.
Yeah, so if we have technical difficulties or glitchy talk over each other or anything, that's why.
Yeah. You know how calls are and
Yeah.
technology and such. Yeah. But today we're talking about truth seekers, or at least half of truth seekers.
Yeah, we know this is going to be at least 2 parts because we have a lot of feelings about this episode.
Yeah. This is like the first episode I watched that made me go, oh shit. like really go, oh shit, you know?
Yeah. This is...
Other than maybe like the You Will Be Okay sequence in Lululand.
Yeah. This is also the episode that you banged your head on the ground over, right?
Oh yeah, and we'll get to that.
Yeah. Our first bullet point is very funny because it just says why he looked like that.
Like I barely know what this is referring to, and we did these notes like a week ago. But,
Yeah.
why do you look like that?
It's in the very beginning in the surveillance cameras. There's a picture of him and he's like screaming, and he's got a bubble tea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the grimoire.
Yeah.
And there's horses.
Yeah. But we haven't seen that. Like, that's not from an episode.
Yeah, all of the other things on the surveillance tapes are from previous episodes, but this is just not like that.
Yeah. And it's so just chaotic.
Yeah, and we like to think that he went to Earth just to see horses.
Yeah, which would be so funny.
And it would kind of make sense if it wasn't in a previous episode. I mean, it wouldn't really make sense, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah. He's also carrying the grimoire in that.
Yeah, which is interesting because usually they use Luna to use the grimoire and take them to the human world. Which is I know she's like their receptionist technically or whatever, but it's interesting that she's usually the one to do it.
Yeah.
When I think about it. But this kind of implies that he just took it and did it himself.
Which really supports the fact that he just went to see horses.
Yeah.
And get bubble tea.
Yeah, he got bubble tea and he saw horses.
Sounds like a good day, honestly.
I'm a big fan of that theory. This is like the most important theory to me that we have.
Yeah.
That's a joke, but I believe it. So moving on from that in a totally different direction, I don't know if we have any actual analysis about this. We just took note of the fact that when Blitz says "shut your dick-sucking lips" to Moxie, he has a used condom on his finger.
Yeah, and he points it near Moxie's mouth, which is ugh.
Yeah, and I guess it correlates with the "shut your dick-sucking lips" that he's shoving a condom near his lips, but.
Also, I feel like every single sexual related dig that Blitz makes to Moxie is queer.
Yeah.
Which is very funny to me.
Yeah. He just clocked him.
Yeah. In the beginning part where they're getting I want to say hunted, but that's not the word, by the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Blitz is very protective of Moxie, and I don't think we've seen that yet.
Yeah, I don't think we have either. I remember watching this for the first time, and just the voice acting when he shouts Moxie's name is just so there's an intensity to it that we haven't heard from him before, really.
Yeah. It really hits in the soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Moxie!
Yeah.
That wasn't it, but you get it.
Yeah. And then he
Like,
also he pushes him to the ground to protect him earlier, and then when he gets shot with the tranquilizer thingy, he grabs him and runs away.
yeah.
It's just so nice.
Yeah. And it really fits in with what this episode does as a whole with furthering their relationship. It's
Yeah,
very sweet.
it is very sweet.
But also before he grabs Moxie, when the portal closes, that's when Moxie first decides he's gonna just fuck shit up because him and Millie are separated, and he just immediately pulls out his gun.
Yeah, he's not really doing anything, and then Millie gets separated from him, and he's like, okay, fuck.
Fuck you, whores.
Literally.
Yeah. And then there's the part when have we acknowledged this before this episode? I feel like we have.
I think we have, but I think we see it here for the first time, right?
I don't. There might have been one time before this, in what is it? Spring Broken. Is there a scene? I could be crazy though.
Probably, I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah, they only have their noses are only animated when they need to smell something.
And I think it's the most prominent in this episode because it's such a big shift in animation.
Yeah.
For reference, this happens when Blitz is running away with holding Moxie, and then Moxie is like, I smell colors. And
Yeah,
suddenly he has fucking nostrils, yeah.
Just I smell colors.
Mm-hmm. Nostrils spawn.
Nostril spawn, yeah. And then we said when Blitz and Moxie both get electrocuted, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And their eye, I guess it's probably Blitz's eyes.
It's Blitz's, yeah.
Yeah, or fluttering open and shut. That's. I mean, it's kind of funny because the conspiracy theorists have their that was badass thing, but it's also so dramatic.
It's so dramatic. I remember when I watched it for the first, it definitely hurts every time I watch it. When I watch it for the first time, it hit so hard. I don't know why, but that animation was just so.
Yeah, the whole thing. Especially, I think they do a really good job in this episode of what's the word? Setting the stakes. They make it clear that this isn't something that happens usually, them getting captured by humans, and make it. It's very dramatic overall.
Mm-hmm.
Just plot wise and character wise, the episode is really good.
Yeah, it's a very good episode narratively. I think there are a lot of good narrative episodes, but so far a lot of them have been more heavy on the animation or the character development, and this one is really good at character development too. But you're right, the plot is just so solid.
Yeah.
There's not.
I mean,
there's not
this episode onward.
Yeah. Yes.
But definitely this one specifically, even with all the other episodes after it that are also really good. I don't even know if Truth Seekers is my favorite necessarily. I just think it's definitely one of the strongest, all around.
Mm-hmm. God, I don't even know what my favorite would be. We need to do a tier list. Maybe that should be one of the bonuses.
No. Yeah.
I was gonna say you don't
both do tier lists.
Yeah.
Independently. Or together, I don't care. Yeah.
We both do independent tier lists, and then when we get back on campus, we duel with our words.
I feel like we'll have a lot of the same thoughts.
Yeah, that's true.
Much to duel about, but maybe we'll be surprised. I'll just be like, yeah, actually, I hate the circus.
No, you won't.
No, I won't. I honestly think either the circus or Ozzy's is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I really like the circus. I really like X's and O's.
Oh, yeah.
I really like Truth Seekers. I really like
Actually,
Aussies.
it might be Truth Seekers for me, actually. I don't know.
Truth Seekers used to be your favorite for a while.
Yeah, and then I had a big Aussies kick.
Yeah.
And then I had a big kick of the circus. And obviously X's and O's when that first dropped. Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, I do really like the new one too, Western Energy.
Yeah, I don't think it's my favorite, but I do think that, like, the next episode, or maybe the one after that, is. I think the next episode's gonna be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So.
I just like how much, like, I was gonna say how much shit is in it, but how much, like, deep concepts are in it. Like, there's the whole, like, class war thing, and then, like,
Yeah.
the discrimination that Blitz has at the freaking vet place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good. So good. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's not this
it's
episode,
definitely
though.
a great. Yes, yes.
um,
Anyway.
yeah. Our next thing is Moxie and Millie's codependency.
So real, honestly.
Yeah, which there's so much. Like, this is so jam-packed of a topic. But I think,
Mm-hmm.
and we see it a lot so far, and we see it later too, but I think this episode in particular is where we see it the most.
Mm-hmm. Because this is like, is this the only episode where they're like separated like this?
Um, I mean, in X's and O's, they're technically separated, but not, like, as much.
Right, but that also doesn't shows this a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's definitely most apparent whenever they're like forced to be apart from each other.
Yeah. It's also really interesting when you think about it in regards to X's and O's as well, because in this one, like, Moxie, like, he just fucking pulls out a gun as soon as he's separated. He's, like, constantly just thinking about where Millie is and is so worried about it. But then in X's and O's, he has that, like, front up where he's like, it's fine. It's fine. It's just one night.
Yeah,
And so I think,
yeah.
like, putting those two concepts together really makes the X's and O's thing so much more powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, not this episode.
In this episode, they haven't even been married for a year yet.
Yeah.
Like this next episode, which is so crazy.
But also,
And they couldn't have dated that long before they got married, considering like how young they are.
That's true. Especially because I seriously doubt that they knew each other before Moxie left, like, the Mafia.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
But that being said, Millie dated Chaz, so maybe not. Like, the layers.
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 I don't know, but I agree. I think it's definitely like after Moxie gets out of prison with Blitz.
Yeah, which
I don't know exactly when or how, but after that, I think.
He's at a very minimum 18 at that point, probably older though, because the initiation happens at 18.
Right, yeah.
So,
and I guess it depends how long him and Chaz were together.
Yeah.
That's the age he would have been.
I was gonna say, I would say he's definitely older than 18 if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Because I would say he was probably in that for at least a year. Maybe not the relationship with Chaz, but like in like active member of the Mafia for at least a year, I would say.
Yeah. I need Vipsy Pop to drop the freaking timeline for every single character. I need the Blitz Circus timeline. I need the Moxie Mafia timeline. I need the Millie Blitz Imp timeline.
I need to know how long Chaz dated everybody.
Yeah, I need that. Man, I hate his ass, but I need his whole relationship history.
Yeah, I also need his entire background because I am so intrigued to know if there's a reason why he's the way he is. Not to, like, in a, like, not redemption, what's the word? Not in an apologist kind of way, but I just want to know. Vivsy Pop, just give us every single ounce of information you've ever thought about ever.
I hope Vivsy Pop has, like, either, like, a physical binder that's just, like, chock full of all of these details, or just, like, a Google spreadsheet that she can share with me. Either one of those would be great.
Why have I not made a binder of all of my character's shit? That would be so fun.
I sort of have one, but not really. It's hard to explain. But I'm a big fan of binders. There was this actually. I'm not gonna even mention Voltron Legendary Defender on this podcast. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
That lore. Anyway, moving on. What are we talking about?
Their codependency.
Yeah.
So, I really want to know if there's a reason why Millie is so protective of Moxie.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, obviously, she is, like, a better, like, if I just, this might be a very bold statement, but she is a better fighter than him.
Yeah.
And she is, like, a bolder, less anxious person than him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the protectiveness makes sense in a way, and, like, to a certain degree, but she is so protective of him. Like, as soon as they're separated, she's sobbing, she's, like, angry, she needs to be, like, right there. It's the most emotion we've seen from her so far.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's probably, like, it seems like there might be more of a reason, because she also doesn't know about, like, his entire background at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that.
Yeah, I think I just in general, I want to know more about Millie's childhood, but I think that also could shed some light on it potentially, because we know that she was like a very bold and like violent child.
Yeah.
But is there a reason for why she's like that? And like, was she kind of more of the protective type even as a kid?
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely want to know that too. And I also wonder if, like, something ever happened, like, while they've been together, or while they knew each other, like, to Moxie directly, that maybe she, like, couldn't help him, or something like that. Like, it just seems like the huge response she has seems like something may have happened before.
Yeah, and it's like just based on their career of killing people, it's very possible.
Yeah.
We've seen Moxie, we've seen both of them in like dangerous, deadly situations already, so there definitely could have been something more extreme.
Yeah.
Or it could just be the stress from having that dangerous of a job in general. I don't know. I'm currently my brain's going down the path of like, do we know were all of Millie's siblings? Is she the youngest? Do we know?
I don't think we know for a fact, because we don't. She has the 3 brothers that we don't know anything about.
Yeah,
But it kind of seems like she's the youngest, because like, the brothers not being there makes me think they're older.
Yeah.
Unless they're, like, younger but still adults.
Yeah, true.
But it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, and I think even if Millie is the youngest, I think just because of like how she was as a child, her like taking more responsibility and wanting to look after people from a very young age, I think is very possible.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much to it, and we can't, like, make a huge full theory about it because we just don't know enough about Millie. We need more Millie.
So sad. We need more Millie.
I think we have said that, like, every episode so far, but
I think so too.
But it's so fucking true.
Last episode and the episode before, I think we went off on a big tangent about Millie, but we need her.
We do. We need more Millie.
She's so special.
And I know that Vivzy Pop said that we're gonna get it, like, but, like, when?
When?
Like, we need it now.
The episode that is gonna happen. Give us the release date.
Yeah. Give us the entire plot while you're at it. Give us the episode while you're at it.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be done.
Yeah. You can just be like sketch lines, it's fine.
Yeah. It could be a storyboard.
Yeah. Just typed out, too. That would be fine.
It's just an outline, like bullet points.
Yeah. What did we had some more Moxie stuff regarding to their codependency.
Oh, yeah, I just read what we have written. Why did we write that?
Um.
As in, like, ouch. Why would we write that?
Okay, I was like, well, because it's relevant. I was so confused what you meant.
Sorry.
No, you're good. The
I just feel like right as in ouch.
yeah. Um.
For context, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What we wrote is that Moxie is afraid to lose the only person that he trusts / loves him. And I think this is less prevalent, like, actually in the moment of the portal being closed. Like, it's there, obviously, like, he pulls out the gun immediately, he's like, fuck. But I think it's more prevalent throughout it when he like, just keeps bringing up Millie and is like, needs her and all that. And
she's always 5
fucking feet away from you. Yeah, when Blitz goes off. And but it's true because it's like his person, and it's like the only person that he trusts, and so he's just really scared to lose her. I think it's also the only person he's ever like had like an intimate relationship with who hasn't hurt him, other than like his mom, but obviously that didn't last long.
Yeah.
Cause like I can't say that he has like an intimate relationship with anyone else at IMP. And so he's terrified of losing her. And also I think that goes into his mommy issues too, because the only other person in his life ever that has like he's been in an intimate relationship with and didn't hurt him was his mom. And he lost her.
Have we talked about, maybe this is something to save for X's and O's, but have we talked about the Moxie cutting steak for Billy headcanon?
I don't think we have. That is probably more of an X's and O's thing.
Alright.
Like, especially because we have a ton of other things we think he does.
Yeah.
But
you probably get the gist.
Yeah, basically,
that.
we're gonna talk about this more in X's and O's, but basically we think that there's a lot of stuff that Moxie does, that like his mom did for him, or like that he wished was done for him as a kid, that he does for Millie, even though Millie's like, you don't have to do that. Like, I'm very independent. Like, I can do that myself. And he's like, no. I'm gonna do this.
/ pause.
Yes. Slash big pause.
/ big pause.
/ caring / loving.
/ they are so in love / the only fully loving relationship he's had before this one was with his mom.
/ couple goals / the blueprint.
The blueprint. Yeah. Honestly, me and who?
The crickets. You and that one friend that I'm not gonna name names, because yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but anyway.
Luna's so tall.
She is.
Sorry, were we going to the next one?
Well, we didn't. Did we talk about the other Moxie one?
Oh, sorry, which one?
Oh, yeah. So the other Moxie one was just that also a big fuel, I think, is that Moxie is, like, when he pulls out the gun and then he's, like, constantly worried about Millie, like, he says something along the lines later on of, like, we haven't dealt with humans before, like, she's in danger. And I wonder if that's fueled by him being afraid that he won't be able to save Millie like he wasn't able to save his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on that, but in those words, it hurts a lot more.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Bring it in,
man. Yeah, man. Anyway, you can grab the next one if you want.
Yeah, Luna, also Luna's human disguise, I know we've already talked about it, but it's so ugly. And I wish she wouldn't change into it all the time. anyway, yeah, Millie and Luna, the height difference is funny, because Millie's so small, Luna's so big.
Yeah. I want Vivzy Pop to canonically give us heights because I know we found some like fanon ones, which are so fucking crazy and make me
Yeah.
insane.
And the heights, like, in relation to each other definitely, like, make sense.
Yeah.
But, like, just, if Vivzy Pop would give us just, like, one canon height, then we could figure out the rest of what we need.
I honestly just need to know Millie and Moxie's heights, and then we can figure everything else out.
Yeah. Because they're like exactly the same height, pretty much.
Yeah, I think
Maybe,
Moxie's...
like, with their horns making a difference.
Yeah, I think Moxie might be, like, a tad bit taller.
Yeah.
But... they're whittle.
They're so small.
They're
negative big.
They are negative big.
Yeah, going back to the codependency kind of.
Yeah.
Because like Millie's crying when the portal closes, like
Mm-hmm.
full on sobbing, and then when her and Luna go into the human world and then see that Moxie and Litz are gone, just immediately starts crying again.
Yeah, and have we seen her cry at all yet?
No, I don't think so, actually.
I don't think so either. Like, I like the huge tears and the, like, banging on the ground and shit, like, definitely was the most emotion that we saw earlier. But I think this is the first time we've seen her cry, which is such a thing.
Yeah, and do we see her cry at all after this? Because I don't think we see even that.
We definitely see her be really angry later on, especially in X's and O's.
Yeah. Yes.
But I don't know.
As far as this, like, kind of, like, vulnerability, we, like, never see from her.
Yeah, I want to say maybe there was, like, watering of the eyes in Harvest Moon when she was hurt. But it's different. It's not a vulnerability thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
It was an ouchie.
Yeah, this is not a pain-related, like, emotion.
A physical pain.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's very emotional is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. The way that Luna just scoops Millie up and puts her in the backpack.
Again, Luna's so big, Millie's so small.
She's like, comparatively, she's like a little dog. You're just putting in her bag.
Yeah. Which is funny because Luna is canonically a wolf.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's so funny.
It's like Millie's your little chihuahua.
Yeah, literally. Also, no, go ahead.
Just a side note, I really want to see more of their friendship. Like, we see them working together in this episode, but, like, we see Blitz and Moxie have, like, these big bonding moments, and I would love for Luna and Millie to have something similar.
Me too. Also, like, I know that it's all like, the show is based on Blitz, and Vivzy Papa said that, and so I understand if we don't get this, but I would really like this show to fucking pass the Bechdel test, because it does not right now.
Literally.
Because the only, like, intimate moments we have between two female characters are this, and then in Seeing Stars.
Yeah, but then it's Luna and Octavia, and they're talking about their dads.
Yeah, and I think, like, this one technically, I think, might pass the Bechdel test, because they're not necessarily talking about the men the entire time, but the whole premise of the reason why they are together is to save the men. Which is a good premise, because it's usually the other way around, and I understand that, and that's very good. But still, I don't think it passed the Bechdel test, and, like, I feel like it needs to. I would really like it to.
Yeah, like, the Bechdel test isn't, like, the end-all, be-all of feminist media, and I think we've talked about this before. Like, just because something does or doesn't pass the Bechdel test doesn't mean that it does or doesn't hate women.
Yeah.
Like, it should pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah, I think it should at least like, can we get one episode that passes the Bechdel test and I'd be fine.
Yeah, because I was just thinking in Harvest Moon when Millie and Sally Mae briefly interact, that might count.
But I think isn't it like it has to be a certain amount of time too?
So that would make sense if there is. I'm not sure what that amount of time is.
I want to say it's 5 minutes, but I really could be wrong.
I've honestly never heard about there being a time requirement, but it makes sense if there is. So, yeah, I don't know. Even does Millie's mom talk like at all?
She does a little bit.
But it's more the dad, right?
It is more the dad, yeah.
Which is, it's just, I don't know. And I don't think we know enough about like Millie's family and childhood to make like valued judgments on like
and I think
which members of her family are highlighted, but
I think also it all comes down to the fact that it is a show based on Blitz, and a huge thing of Blitz's life is toxic masculinity. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, the dad spewing the toxic masculinity is going to be like, he's going to talk more because he's doing that, where the mom like wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So, like,
as long as it's done like intentionally and like to convey a certain theme or meaning, then it's okay. I just feel like, and you know, the show being more male focused is like fine, but still, generally they could, I think, just put a little more effort into letting the female characters have complex relationships with each other.
Yeah, I agree. And I really would like it to pass the Bechdel test, but I also understand that there are like if I had to pick a piece of media that wasn't going to pass the Bechdel test, not saying that something shouldn't, like I think that all things should probably pass the Bechdel test, but if I was going to pick something that wouldn't, this would be one of those things, because it does have other things that like show respect to women in a sense. And obviously I probably shouldn't talk about this cuz I'm not women, but I like it shows like a lot of women in power, and it like reverses a lot of typical gender norms, and there's not like any like damsel in distress kind of thing. So I respect that a lot, and I think that that's worth something, but I also would still like at least one episode to pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even argue that like everything should pass the Bechdel test, because there's definitely things that like The Outsiders, I think we've talked about.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna pass the Bechdel test, and that's fine because it's not intended to be. It's a story about men.
Yeah,
basically.
That's true.
And that's fine. Like that's the purpose it serves. That it highlights those male, you know, whatever. But it's like, I don't know. It's not. It. I don't know.
I think The Outsiders honestly might pass the Bechdel test.
Really?
Because there's one scene where the two females, the only two females,
Cherry and
Maria,
the other one.
Yeah. They're talking, and they are originally talking about a guy, so I don't know if this counts, because this conversation starts based on like their boyfriends, but then it talks about like just classes in general.
Yeah.
And it's between the two of them, so maybe.
That might work. Then.
But also, I don't think it's a solid pass, but you're right. Yes, I don't think everything needs to pass the Bechdel test. But like a thing like this, like a piece of media that has a significant amount of female characters, even if it's based on like a story about like men, this does have a lot, not a lot, but like a significant enough amount of female main characters that it should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like it's just more a matter of like they are still characters in the show, and they should be able to interact with each other.
Yeah, because like in The Outsiders, there are female characters, and I guess like Cherry is technically like I would consider supporting, maybe, like she's not, but she's not a main character by any means.
Yeah.
And so like that not passing the Bechdel test makes a lot more sense than something like this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it can be a male-focused show all you want it to be, and it can be centered around Blitz and all that, but if you're gonna have these, like, allegedly, like, very complex female characters that have, like, these, you know, backstories that we're waiting to unlock, and, like, they
Mm-hmm.
interact with each other regularly, they should be able to interact in a way that's not focused around men, even if the show itself is.
Yes. And even if it's like most of the time doesn't pass the Bechdel test, that makes sense because
Yeah.
it's focused on
Yeah.
Blitz. But the fact that it doesn't at all, not in a single episode, is concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, anyway, our media analysis, let's...
This episode could be called Helluva Bechdel test.
Helluva Bechdel test, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Did we talk about the
Cool.
human disguise thing yet? About why?
Oh, no. So we've seen that. Okay, so we were talking about why it is that Luna would have a human disguise, and, like, we've seen other Hellhounds have them, like Vortex, in Spring Broken, and Veronica has one, and, like, her whole crew, they all have human disguises, and then we see later that Stolas does. So, like, what is the requirement to have a human disguise, and why do Blitz, Millie, and Moxie not have them?
Yeah, and like, where do you get them, and why would you? Like, why would Luna have one?
Yeah. Like, is it like a Hellhound specific thing? Because we've seen other Hellhounds have it? Or, like, it makes sense that Stolas has one.
Yeah.
Because he's Stolas. He can just do shit like that.
And he also, like, his whole thing is that he has the grimoire that can open up a portal. So, like, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then Veronica, I think canonically her and her crew, they have the Asmodean crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they get to the human world. So, like, they also do it fairly consistently, so that makes sense too.
Mm-hmm.
But then why does Luna have one? And she's, like, surprised that the rest of them don't have one.
Yeah. My only guess is that maybe it was to fit in with, like, the sinners. But also with that, a lot of the sinners look different when they come to hell than humans.
Yeah.
So even that's, like, a very loose, not well supported theory, but that's just the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. I don't know. And I'm curious if we're ever gonna get to see Blitz or Millie and Moxie with the human disguises, because they just, like, dress up in silly outfits every time they go to Earth. And then in Seeing Stars, Stolas, like, Blitz asks if Stolas can conjure disguises for them, and he can't that time because he doesn't have the grimoire.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe in the future. But then Blitz, they always have the grimoire when they go to the human world, so can't they just conjure them for themselves?
I don't know. And also, like, another thing with me is, like, like, Blitz was fully on a TV show with a human audience.
Yeah.
And no one...
Just, like, a wig.
Yeah, and no one noticed that he was a demon, so I wonder if there's, like, if Stolas maybe put, like, some kind of, like, days over people, or, like, why do they pass so well as humans is the thing, because they shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but I think the humans are just stupid.
Yeah, but it doesn't
when
make...
they see Moxie in Spring Broken, they're like, "Ooh, a possum!"
Yeah.
It's not close at all.
That's true. But also, like, the conspiracy theorists clearly see that they're demons.
Right, yeah.
So...
But that's, like, their whole thing, that they study that, so
that's true.
Maybe they just know what to look for? I don't know, it's so weird.
It is weird.
It's hard to tell, like, what's intended as a joke and what we can, like, actually analyze.
Yeah. I mean, also there's the whole thing of humans... Yeah. Also, there's the whole... I'm trying to, like, not go big psychology student right now.
Okay.
But there's, like, the whole thing of, like, confirmation bias in humans, and where if like you see something and you're gonna like think of whatever makes it make sense. So like if a human
Yes.
sees Moxie, who's a fucking demon on Earth, is gonna be like,
Mhm.
oh, that just looks like a weird looking possum. That's definitely a possum. And
Yeah,
that's
that
like
makes
that's how
sense.
human brains work. But it's really interesting that the majority of people think like that. Like I know that's how human brains work, but it's like you would think they'd seen them enough to be suspicious. But
Yeah. And that does make sense though, because that's why people like the conspiracy theorists would like, it's like a see what you want to see kind of thing. So they're like,
yeah,
oh, these are the
exactly.
demons we've been hunting. But then other people will just be like, oh, that's I can't explain that, so it's a possum
Yeah.
or it's Brandon Rogers.
Yeah,
So yeah,
people do not like things that they can't fucking understand. So so they
yeah.
make it seem like a normal thing.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely explanation, and then it's just like exaggerated within the show. I think,
Which
which explains why it's the majority of people.
yeah, which also could be used as like a comedy or maybe a fucking statement knowing Vizzy Pop.
True, true.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um
So so did Blitz go to college?
yeah, cuz like my whole thing is I feel like Blitz didn't have schooling. Like he was a circus kid, and a lot of times, like obviously not nowadays, but we know that well, I don't think we know for a fact, but my whole thing is that I think the circus is used as a like metaphor for like showbiz in on Earth, like acting
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. And obviously not now because laws, but like before, like in like previously, that was a big thing. If like kids grew up in showbiz, they didn't do school. Like they were just
Yeah.
actors. They were just performers. Like that was what they did. And that's kind of the vibe I get from this, especially giving Blitz's family.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I feel like he didn't get schooling. So therefore, how would he get into college? And then we also know he canonically like can't spell and isn't like the most book smart person.
Yeah. For context, when we talk about the him potentially going to college, we're talking about the line where he says like in college he was strapped nipple first to a car battery or whatever.
Yeah, in the college he dropped out of.
In the college he dropped out of, and we're debating if that's a true statement, like he actually went to college and dropped out, or if that's just not true remotely.
Yeah. Has he made other college comments throughout the show? I feel like he has.
Um, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll figure that out. But
Yeah. What was his ass gonna major in? Circus?
I don't know. Yeah, the joke we had was that he went to clown college, but honestly,
Honestly? Well, so yeah, that would make sense as far as like how he got in,
yeah,
if that was a thing that existed.
it probably fucking does.
Yeah, in this universe, it's basically it would be like going to a performing arts school, I guess.
Yeah, and I know a lot of kids that like grow up in the industry don't necessarily like there's certain acting academies that don't have like your gen eds and all of that. Like it's just acting,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of
Yeah.
kids that grow up in the industry go to those, and so that
Mm-hmm.
would make sense. But then the fact if Blitz canonically went to clown college is hilarious.
Yeah. Maybe he went to horse college.
Horse
Actually, no, he
college.
wouldn't have dropped out of that. So
No, he wouldn't have. But then that also poses the question of like if he went to clown college, did he drop out after like not to get super into this, but
yeah, no, they analyze clown college.
the whole like his markings and stuff coming from an accident, did he drop out of clown college after he had an accident if that's canonically what happened?
True. Yeah. Not my ass going to clown college. That's just the phrase that popped into my head. Um,
And then also,
yeah.
no, the
Who?
strapped nipple first to a car battery, I don't think was related to college. I think the thing was he took a lot of tranquilizers.
Well, yes, that was it.
But then after that, he talks about getting strapped nipple first to a car battery. Who the fuck did that?
Ooh, was it consensual?
I would feel like
Was
not. Was it
was this
sexual?
and was this during college or just completely unrelated?
Yeah, and like, I have so many questions.
Not my ass getting strapped nipple first to a car battery.
And how does one get strapped nipple first to a car battery?
I didn't even know he had nipples.
That's
If I'm
true.
being completely
I don't
honest.
think he
Please see his
does.
checklist. He
I
doesn't
don't
have
think,
nipples.
not me looking up fucking um the Harvest Moon to see if he has
Yeah,
nipples, but
this is very important.
do you want to tackle the next bullet point? Because that's all you.
Oh yeah. Do you want to say the lead-in line for me? Blitz's line.
I want something iced, bitch, Mox.
All of the Neapolitan cappuccino, more cappa than chino. Make sure it's got no more than 4 ounces of milk. The beans won't have the right texture otherwise. And make sure they spell my name correctly on the cup. They always put Boxy or Roxy. I hate that. If you can't handle that, I'll have a venti traditional misto. Please use soy milk with 2 blonde shots, affogato, and ristretto. I'd also love 3 vanilla cups at the very bottom, then add the coffee after. This gay-ass coffee order.
True. And he's so, like, passionate about it.
So he had that ready, and like I know he's like messing with them and just being an asshole, but I like to think this is his actual coffee order.
This is like his dream coffee order, I feel. Like, this is what he wants
Yeah,
to say, but he's too much of a people pleaser to actually say this, so he just gets, like,
yeah.
what does Moxie order?
Um,
I feel like he orders, like, a caramel, like, latte or something.
based. He asked for soy milk. Is Moxie canonically vegan? Question mark. Or just lactose intolerant? I could see his ass being lactose intolerant.
Oh, his ass is probably lactose intolerant. His ass can't handle dairy. Me-core.
So true. Also, he's just so okay. They always put Boxy or Roxy. I hate that. That fuels our transgender Moxie propaganda. And then the thing about the beans not having the right texture and just the specifics in general is so autism.
Yeah. Also, the fact that canonically the name Boxy is more real than Moxie is so funny because Moxie is like a real name.
Yeah.
Like, I know a bitch named Moxie,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not know a single person named Boxy, and that's very funny to me.
No. Boxy.
Boxy.
But yeah, him and Blitz are on the 2 separate ends of the gay coffee order spectrum.
Yeah. And so autistic and so transgender.
Both of yeah. Um,
Moxie just having
have
so
you
much audacity during this scene.
Yeah, both of them do, but like it's more funny coming from Moxie because he doesn't usually,
Yeah.
or at least he does with Blitz sometimes, but not in the, like this.
And not to like authority figures. Like, I know the conspiracy theorists aren't like necessarily authority figures, but they're people like trying to get things out of them and at a higher position than them. And Moxie would normally
Yeah.
be very like, yes, sir, to them.
Yeah.
Um
Have you determined if Blitz has nipples? By the way,
I don't think he does. He does.
fascinating. Maybe it's like their noses where they only have them when they need them.
That's so funny. But he has a vest on in the little gay fucking vest. So they could be
Yeah.
under that.
It's Schrodinger's nipples.
God. I said, oh my god. But yeah, the audacity is really interesting to me because I think that also shows like his comfort with Blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Blitz is encouraging him to do that, and he's like comfortable doing that with Blitz there, but like I know for a fact if he was by himself that would not be how this goes.
Yeah.
So that dynamic's very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way he kind of just like looks up to him.
Yeah, this episode is very centered around their relationship as a whole.
Yeah.
Which is really nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like Blitz and Moxie.
Me too. And then there's the I'm a Virgo line.
I'm a Virgo.
He sticks his fucking tongue out. I love him so much.
That's one of my favorite like one-liners in this show. It's just so funny.
Yeah. You haven't even asked us what we are. What are you?
What are you?
I'm a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo.
And his eyes like go swirly.
Yeah.
I love him.
So silly.
So
silly little guy.
He's such a silly little guy. And then the kink jokes just throwing the fucking conspiracy theorists so off guard.
If I had a nickel for every time in the show someone made sexual jokes to throw their kidnapper off guard, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Yeah. I think it also happened in Has Been, right? Maybe not a kidnapper, but...
And Has Been, probably.
Yeah, there's like
I
haven't seen Has Been still, which I'm so bad for. I'm so sorry. I need to watch it. But I keep seeing edits where it like shows Moxie's thing, and then it compares it to something it has been that someone says.
Angel Dust.
Yes.
I've seen that comparison, but I only watched Has Been once, and I don't remember what it's referring to. But I don't remember the context. But yes, basically yes.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a very common thing, and it's very funny. Yeah. Because it always works too.
It's like Moxie handhold Stolas, handhold Angel Dust, making sex jokes to throw off people.
Literally. And Blitz in this scene.
And Blitz, yeah. They're just all holding hands.
Yeah. Oh wait, so it's 3 times then, because it's this.
3 nickels!
3 nickels!
3!
That's so many.
That's so many nickels. That's 15 cents.
Yeah.
So many nickels.
So many nickels. The daddy likey dummy.
Yeah, daddy likey dummy, and then Moxie's laugh is so
yeah,
funny.
he kicks his little feet.
Kicks his little feetsies.
That's a good one, sir.
They're so silly.
They're so silly. I love them so much.
Scene. I love this whole scene so much.
Me too. I could just watch this scene on repeat. It's so good.
Yeah. This scene and then like Baby Blitz and Stolas in the circus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The circus is gonna be like a 12-parter.
Yeah. You know what we should do like Helluva Boss Roulette, where we make like a playlist that's full of like really like cute and sweet and funny scenes, but then that scene from X's and O's is just randomly thrown in there.
Yeah.
And we put the playlist on shuffle.
Yeah, we want to cause ourselves so much pain.
Yeah. Helluva Roulette.
Helluva Roulette. And like that scene from Ozzy's too.
Yeah, the car scene?
The car scene and the blitz after the car scene.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them, 2 separate scenes.
Yeah. Not Blitz. Stola's yelling at Stella.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all the hard-hitting scenes.
And then, like...
Stella's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next bullet point we have is, why is there more fucking fat jokes?
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
For context...
We say it all the time, but Vivzy Pop, you gotta stop.
I know that Vivzy Pop probably has not heard any of our podcasts, but Vivzy Pop, stop it.
Vivian Medrano. Full naming her.
Full fucking governmenting her.
Yeah.
Also, for context for the listeners, we have the bullet point as fat jokes slash neg slash neg slash neg.
Yeah.
We are so fed up. Please stop.
And also, just to paint a bit of a picture of our notes, it's the fat joke slash neg slash neg slash neg, and then there's like one note in between, and then the next one is hashtag girl bossery in all caps.
Yeah.
So we do really intricate analysis on this podcast.
Yeah, we should just like post one of our notes sometimes just because it would be so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Maybe when we get like a certain amount of listeners or something.
Yeah, maybe if this ever went anywhere, not that it will, but we make like a Patreon and then
And you get our notes.
All of our notes on the Patreon.
Would y'all even like the notes on the Patreon? Let us know. Yeah, you can take it.
Yeah, I kind of already said this whole scene is so funny. I just love them tormenting these bitches and being assholes.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else to say about that?
I don't know if we have this later on, but once the conspiracy theorists leave and they're just like tied up, Blitz is like trying to move and escape, and Moxie is just like taking it. Which we do have it later, I see now. But I think it says a lot about like how they react to trauma and just how they are as people.
These traumatized motherfuckers.
Yeah, because I don't know if we've talked about how they have really. I think we have how we have really similar trauma.
Yeah.
I think we'll get into that more in the circus and in X's and O's.
Yeah, we say a lot how we literally, if they just would have one conversation about like their childhood or their trauma or whatever, just one legitimate, earnest conversation.
Yeah, just
and
one.
It would fix like everything.
Literally, it would fix everything, and it's just
fix so much.
It would be so good, but Moxie just is a scared motherfucker, and then Blitz can't open up to anyone ever. So
yeah. So it might be a while.
Yeah, but I think it is really, really interesting. Just how different they are reaction wise. Because Blitz it's like the Moxie has a freeze, like in the fight, flight, freeze, and Blitz. I don't know if Blitz has a fight or a flight. I think he's definitely more flight, like on a baseline, because he runs from relationships and stuff like that. But he's also got the fight. Definitely, like look at his entire company.
Yeah, well, also because in the circus when he's like a kid, he's kind of like he does what his dad says, but he's very like, you know, he does kind of argue with him about it and like rips his hand away from him and stuff like that. And then in Lululand, I mean, it's not really Fizz, it's Robo Fizz, but he fucks that bitch up.
Real. But then when we see him actually with Fizz, like real Fizz, he's so complacent.
It's like he's fight until it really comes down to it, and then he is full light.
Flight, yeah. Especially like we see that like everything happens with Fizz and stuff at Aussie's, and then that's right when he has like the I can't do this with you, Stolas, and everything. So that's what gives me the flight. Like he's reminded of everything, and he's like, shit, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't let people get close.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But then the other bullet point we have is Moxie being so complacent is kind of terrifying because I don't think he moves like at all. Like he's just sat there. And so that makes me wonder what else he's been complacent for in the past. Like obviously there's probably been a lot of stuff he's been complacent for with his dad and stuff, but like I think this is a layer for both his dad and for Chaz. Like I want to know what else he's just taken.
Yeah.
And it's probably been a lot saying that he's like completely kidnapped by humans, which he's terrified of, and he's just like, whatever, guess I have to just take this. Terrifying.
Yeah.
To make a strong pivot, do you want to take the next one?
Okay, we skipped over the girl bossery and the coffee.
Oh shit, yeah. Sorry.
I don't know. I think the girl bossery is just referring to Luna and Millie breaking
Yeah,
in.
it is.
But the music when they're like taking down the security guards and shit is good. The fight scenes in this, we'll talk about the big fight scene when we get to it. That'll
Yeah.
probably be in the next episode though.
Yes.
But yeah, the fight scenes in this are cool. The music's cool. And then do you want to talk about the security guards?
Yeah. There's one clip where the security guards see like Luna and Millie or something like that, and they press a button and he spits out his coffee, and then it pans over to the other security guard who got the coffee spit on him, and he just like puts his hands up like, what? Like, dude.
Just like, you motherfucker.
It is so fucking funny. When I tell you I paused and laughed out loud the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
And
It's so silly.
this show is so good at just throwing in little stuff like that.
Yeah, the little animation details.
Yeah, it's
They're
so
funny.
good.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. You would love BoJack Horseman.
I know I would. I need to watch it.
It's like such a different vibe, but also not. I don't know how to explain it.
You're not the only person
like
who's
it.
told me that. A lot of people have. I just need to watch it. But I also need to watch like 12 other things.
That's true. I just think you would have a lot of thoughts about it.
I think I would. Would I start another podcast? Probably.
Hello, welcome back to the Double A Discussions brand. This is our new podcast.
BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman.
God.
Yeah. Okay. Now moving on to
Yeah, you take this one.
So remember when we mentioned how I hit my head on the ground the first time I watched this episode because I got so excited? It was because they revealed that Moxie canonically gets pegged, and it's just. The build-up from Spring Broken to this episode was so worth the wait.
Yeah. You also, because for reference, Audie had watched this like before any of us, like in the friend group had, including me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know like anything about this except for like I knew a little bit. Like you had explained some of the like Moxie stuff and how I would like Moxie and just the show in general. And I had been planning on watching it, but at this point I was like, okay, yeah, that seems cool. Then you texted our group chat and you were like, "This guy gets pegged. Oh my god!" You're like freaking the fuck out. And you were like, "I know you both know nothing about this, but he gets pegged."
Yeah, I was like celebrating.
You were so fucking hype, and honestly, that's so real.
Just to go like in Spring Broken like that. Oh, she definitely pegs you, doesn't she? That was funny enough.
Yeah.
But then, like, as soon as Blitz said that in Spring Broken, I was like, oh, Millie definitely pegs.
Yeah.
And then to get to that in Truth Seekers and have it be confirmed when I wasn't expecting it was just so funny.
Yeah, and also the way he went sometimes, like so fucking casually.
Sometimes. Wait, ew, why that?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
And Blitz is so proud of himself for figuring it out too.
You just know Blitz has had like a red string detective board in his office trying to figure this out.
Yeah. He's so. That's what you know. How there is one in his office. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And every time he's sneaking into Moxie and Millie's house, he's like looking for Millie's strap on.
Stop.
Alright, moving on.
Oh well. Before we move on, I just want to say that the note that this says is capital. This guy, lowercase, gets capital pegged. Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! And then the party emoji.
Little guy with the little hat and then the blowing out the little confetti thing.
Yeah, I just felt like that's very important information.
Yeah, I think so too. And then in that same like conversation going off that, the way that they're just like so mean to each other in this scene, and then they feel so bad about it, but then like they'll just say way more intense things casually outside of this.
Yeah, but these things are really like hard hitting too, and they know that. And I think that just shows that, like, especially with Blitz, it shows that he actually cares about Moxie, which I don't think was like really confirmed before this episode.
Yeah. Like in I think Murder Family, the first real episode, kind of like sets up this kind of conflict in their dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't actually see Blitz really caring for Moxie until this episode.
Yeah. And I think this is the first time and one of the only times we ever hear Blitz apologize.
Yeah, when he like says something to Moxie about it. I think it's about his shit taste in music.
Yeah, which we know Moxie
like,
was
oh,
like.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other time we noted that we hear Blitz apologize is in Ozzy's during the car scene TM with Stolas.
Yeah.
When he's like, I can't do this tonight, I'm sorry.
Yeah, which is like a really big, huge emotional scene, and with his like lover.
Yeah.
And so I think that him apologizing to Moxie, honestly, like that being the only other time, is really big.
Mm-hmm.
And really shows how much he cares about him.
Yeah.
So one thing, I think we're planning on doing Moxie's bad trip sequence first, but I think maybe we should save the rest of that because we're already at 1 hour and 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
So this will be the last bullet point, but just so you guys know, next episode we'll be talking about the bad trip sequences, and we have a lot to say about those, and the fight scene, and all the rest of the episode. So yeah.
Now that I'm looking at this, I don't know if we're gonna get through all of that next episode.
Maybe Bad Trip will be the next episode, and that's it. Because we have a lot to say about that.
This will be a 2 or 3-parter.
Yeah.
Probably.
But
you'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll find out also. You'll find out when we find out.
Yeah. But the last point we have is that Blitz when he begins to lose consciousness and like go into the trip sequence, he immediately blames Moxie.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. Because like one, the projection, like pack it up.
Mm-hmm. Pack it up, buddy.
But 2 is also like, I think this has been shown a lot throughout like the whole show, but not like as explicitly. Blitz gets so scared when he loses control. Like when he doesn't have control over a situation, he is terrified. And I think that obviously is a very like common trauma response, but we all know how in depth I am about his relationship trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that ties into that.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that just kind of puts it into a new framework. And it's just, when I was thinking about this, it made me feel fucking crazy. So if anyone else has similar views to me on this show, I think it will also make them feel crazy.
It's the Aussies. So, like, not next podcast episode, but next episode of the show, where we finally really get into Blitz's relationship trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Or, our theories about it, I guess. Because I know we've alluded to it a lot, but I don't know how much we've actually, like, fully talked about it. We've
talked about the Fizz thing quite a bit, but I definitely haven't had all of mine. I think also we talked about doing the bonus episodes, and the votes said that mine should be the his relationship pasts and like the theories I have. So I probably will do that at some point over this summer.
Cool. Yeah.
Maybe before, and that will be before we do Ozzy, so that would be perfect.
Yeah. And then I'm sure it'll come up a lot in Ozzy's.
Oh, yeah.
As well. Yeah. I have to figure out what bonus episode I want to do this summer. I still have no idea. So, feel free to suggest things on our Instagram.
Yeah.
At AA Discussions, casual plug.
Yeah. Did we have any good questions of the week, or do you want to make that the question, or Helluva Q&A?
Yeah, we once again forgot to write a Helluva Q&A.
Yeah, we can just make
Um,
it like what would you like to see as a bonus episode if you're comfortable with that.
yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, so that will be the hell of a Q&A.
Just yeah, and the bonus episodes are things that I mean, we might actually end up doing the tier list things also.
Mhm.
But yeah, the bonus episodes are going to be like independent episodes that we both make.
Yeah, and they're not related to the series, so like it's not going to be in order. Like they're going to be separate thing on Spotify. They're going to be listed as bonus episodes and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it will just be like one of us. It won't be both of us, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that will be the hell of
And
a Q&A. Make sure
yeah,
it will be directly on Spotify, so make sure you answer it.
and possibly on the Instagram. I'm not running that as closely as I was before.
Yeah, I'll put it on the story.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, be definitely sure to check out the AA discussions Instagram and follow it, because since we're posting less regularly, I know we talked about this last time, but that will be really the only way to give updates. Like there won't be a set schedule for you to follow. Um, Plus we might post some silly stuff there and stuff since we do have so much more free time.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to follow, and also you can give us feedback, ideas, all sorts of stuff through the messages there. We love to hear from you, so it's a good thing to check out.
Send all of your silly little thoughts about the silly little gay demons.
Yeah, literally send us paragraphs upon paragraphs of your thoughts. We would love to hear them. We are so crazy about this show, and we want to hear other people be crazy about this show.
And let us know if we're wrong about the show not passing the Bechdel test.
Yeah, please also fact check us, because we are not like super strong in our theories. If we are wrong, let us know. We would love to address it, because we want our theories to be as foundational as they can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do we have anything else?
I don't think so. We'll, yeah, again, just keep up with the Instagram, because we don't know yet when we're recording the next part of this. So we'll let you know on
Yes.
Instagram.
It'll likely be a Friday or a weekend, I would say, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we're gonna probably be shifting from our regular Sundays because our schedules are a lot different in the summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for listening.
Thanks.
And yeah, we hope you enjoyed, and we will see you at some point.
Mwah.
Mwah.